Emil's behavior is not normal. So, background, partner had been very LC with his mother for years. Even before we got together, been together 7 years now, he was LC for about 10 years. His only contact was via SM and occasional texting. He didn't see her. SIL is fully in C with MIL. Without telling parts of this that aren't mine to tell, the household was abusive, and even SIL as the golden child had enough eventually. Partner has repaired relationship with FIL. He and MIL have not been together for about 20 years, and he is also in C with her. But MIL is a bit of a different story. Basically, she won't admit any of it was her fault and insists on painting herself as the biggest victim. After partner and I had been together for about a year, MIL added me on socials. She would occasionally comment or message, nothing too weird or intense. When our first child was born, after about a year, she reached out to me asking to visit. I spoke to my partner, and he really wasn't keen but felt she should know her grandchild. So we said yes. Everything was arranged through me, which was mildly annoying, but again, I didn't think much of it. On that first visit, her behavior was mildly, just no. A lot of bad-mouthing FIL, including stuff that I believe was made up. For example, I mentioned something an abusive ex did to me, and she immediately claimed FIL had done the same to her. She also fished for information about FIL and SIL, clearly trying to get us to put her in contact. We held firm on that as they have made their boundaries clear. It was exhausting, but definitely not as bad as partner had expected. So we allowed her a second visit, which went much the same way. Exhausting and stressful, but nothing we couldn't handle. She also mentioned having an alt account on Facebook to stalk people, which we did warn SIL about. FIL doesn't have SM. I said to partner that I felt she's just lonely and doesn't really know how to interact with people. I felt sorry for her, but also said I didn't think she should visit more than once or twice a year. She stays in a hotel. She is never invited to stay here. We also discussed whether she should be invited to our upcoming wedding, and I told partner it was his call. He said he felt obliged and we would invite her. Last weekend, she came for her third visit. We gave her her wedding invitation. She brought gifts for our kid, and she acted pretty much as she always had. Annoying, but nothing we couldn't shut down. Until Sunday night. We were sat in the garden, and my partner asked if he should go and get wine. He specified which wine he was getting. It was a red one, but as in he was specific about the brand, and she asked if she could have a bottle of white. Partner was visibly annoyed as he'd only really wanted to buy one bottle. We don't drink much as we have a child, and he has had alcohol issues in the past, so moderation is always on our minds when we do drink. He bought her it anyway, feeling obligated. When he returned, she looked at the bottle of red and said, "Oh, I love that one. If I'd known you were getting that, I wouldn't have asked for white." He had specified twice that he was buying this one. She drank wine, spirits, complained about FIL, then got up to go into the bathroom. At this point, I hear her calling for me, and she says she's had an accident. She had pissed herself. At the bottom of the stairs, there was a puddle in the hallway. Not just a drop, a full-on puddle. I went and got the mop, and she said, "Oh, you've got a mop? Good," and walked off upstairs, leaving me to clean up her piss. I was furious, but felt as we had all had a drink, I'd wait and talk to partner the next morning. I told him she'd wet herself, but I think he thought it was just a dribble, and she'd been asking where stuff to clean herself up was. She came down wrapped in a towel and just sat there. I said I was having a bath and going to bed. She asked to use the bathroom first so it doesn't happen on her way back to the hotel. Fine. 20 minutes later, partner comes into the bathroom and says, "Can I get out?" as she needs to go again before she leaves, and had told him she was waiting for me to finish my bath in case she pees in the Uber to the hotel. Okay. So leave after the first bathroom trip then? Before leaving, at about 1 a.m., she decided to start talking about partner's childhood and basically saying she should have done more. He shut her straight down, asked her to leave. The next day, she didn't get out of bed until the late afternoon. Turned up around 3:30. Partner was working upstairs when she arrived. She immediately starts talking to me about the childhood abuse, in some detail, not just after he had told her it was not for discussion, but in front of our kid. Our kid is 3, not a baby who doesn't know what is being said. I stopped it. changed the subject, tried to redirect, and in truth, after cleaning up her piss the night before, did not want to speak with her at all. Later that night, kid in bed, partner basically realized there's not enough ingredients for him to cook what he was going to cook for 3 adults. I immediately say it's fine. I'll go out and get myself a burger or a pizza. Jumped at the chance to get out really. Halfway to the store, I get a text. She spilled red wine on the carpet. Can you get more paper towels? Fine, whatever. But why was she drinking the red wine anyway when she had made him buy her a bottle of white? Get back. By this point, I was too annoyed to eat, so I didn't bring any food, just the cleaning supplies. I also bought a disposable vape as I was so pissed off. Emile is asthmatic, so I sat outside to vape angrily. Partner came out and asked me to come in, so I did. She proceeded to ask questions about family members who are in C with her, and eventually asked if we could show her SIL's Facebook page. Partner again shut her down and told her she had to leave as we were tired. Once she'd gone, I said something about mopping up her bodily fluids and how disrespectful/degrading it had felt. Partner was shocked, had no idea it had been an actual puddle of piss, and said I should have called him. It also transpired that when she spilled the wine, she just sat there and watched him clean up after her. Apparently, this was a pattern in his childhood. She expected FIL and the kids to clean up after her. Neither of us want her to come back. We are also worried she is going to make a fuss at the wedding. She will only know FIL and his new wife, who she's also been vile to. And we think SIL won't attend if she's there. Apparently, she behaved horribly at SIL's wedding, but that was before I met my partner. I don't know what to do. I originally thought she was just lonely, not great social skills, and in all honesty, FIL can be a bit unreasonable, so I initially believed her that she was the victim. But all her talk of stalking people, the way she made messes and expected us to clean them, the pushing for information about people she knows are done with her. I think she's brought a good amount of it on herself with the way she treats people. I can't have her in my house again. After cleaning up her piss, and just to be totally clear here, there are no medical issues that would make it acceptable. She was just too drunk/lazy to get to the bathroom in time. I cannot even think about her without feeling revulsion. I don't want her ruining our wedding. I don't want her having contact with my kid and behaving like this around them. I just do not know what to do. I think we will probably go and see after the wedding, but the thought of her being there is causing me so much stress. We've even considered telling her it's canceled, but she'll make it an issue and probably spread rumors. She asked me once if partner was abusive to me. My response of, well, if he was, you raised him, seemed to shock her, and given her social media stalking habits, she will find out it's not. I've even suggested we move house. We have been considering this anyway for other reasons, and not tell her the new address. I'm not overreacting in any way here, am I? Now to the next story, story 2. Emile wants to stay at our house for my daughter's birthday party. My in-laws live about 5 hours away from us. They are divorced and both remarried, so they both obviously visit separately. I absolutely love my FIL and his wife. My Emile and her husband, on the other hand, are not my favorites. She is very jealous, plays the victim, and makes everything about herself. She's not mean to my face, but she has very outlandish political opinions, oversteps boundaries, and let's just say I absolutely dread when she comes to visit for the weekend. Her husband is also extremely obnoxious, loud, and gives me creepy vibes. My daughter will be 2 in October. She is our firstborn and the first grandchild in both me and my husband's families. For her first birthday last year, we threw her a big party and invited all of our friends and family. About a month before the party, my FIL asked if him and his wife could stay at our house with us so they didn't have to stay in a hotel and could spend more time with us and my daughter, and we said yes, of course. A few weeks before the party, Emile texted my husband and asked if her and her husband could stay. My husband texted back and told her that his dad had already asked and that we didn't have any more space unless someone wanted to sleep in the floor. Jokingly, she responded that she was fine with that. We have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, 2 of those bedrooms being our bedroom and my daughter's nursery, the guest bedroom, and then a small playroom for my daughter that has French doors with windows, so no one could really sleep there unless they covered up the doors somehow, and even then, The room is covered with her toys and playsets and is very small. I also planned to be up late decorating that night and didn't want to have to tiptoe around the playroom if someone slept in there. It's off of the living room. Or not decorate because people were sleeping in blow-ups in the living room. Not to even mention, her ex-husband was already going to be staying there. We obviously told her no, and she got super offended because my husband's dad was going to have more time with my daughter's name. Fast forward to now. Emil just visited this weekend and told me and my husband, "I'm putting in my request to stay at your house for the birthday party now." My daughter's birthday is over 3 months away, so it's already strange that she's thinking about this. But my issue is the fact that I truly do not want her staying here for my daughter's birthday. I get along with my FIL fine and love him, so I didn't mind him staying, but my Emil is not someone I want at my house while trying to prepare for a party the next day. She stresses me out so bad and constantly tries to take my daughter from me, which usually results in her doing something unsafe. So I have to watch her like a hawk anytime she's around. She also never helps with housework or anything, which would apply to decorating, because she's just trying to snatch up my daughter 24/7. The idea of this woman staying at my house for my daughter's birthday makes me feel sick to my stomach because I know I won't be able to get anything done or get the house ready for all of the guests, much less even be able to enjoy the party with her staying at the house and hovering over everything. I feel stuck though because FIL did stay here last year, and I know she'll throw a fit if we tell her no, especially after she's put in her request early. What on earth should I do here? Every single event, including my daughter's birth, seems to be overshadowed by her and her creepy husband, and it literally makes me want to cry that I can't enjoy any single event without having to worry about this woman butting in one way or another. I can't even have peace in my own home before a milestone event without this woman trying to stay here so she has the most time over anyone else. Now to the next story, Story 3. Am I overreacting for not wanting much of a relationship with my Emil? Am I overreacting? My BFS mom has been our biggest problem in our 2-year relationship. Right from the very beginning, I got an odd feeling about his mom. Starting with him telling her about me a month into us dating. We weren't even official yet. In that same month was his birthday, where he shared with me a part of his birthday card to me from his mother. In it, it said, "Since I am no longer the woman who has your heart." I was so thrown off because it seemed so dramatic. We weren't even official, and she hadn't even met me at this point. Moving forward, he would think it's so funny how his mom would refer to me when asking about me to him as the wrong name. Sarah, Selena, Serena, Sabrina. Everything but the correct name. He thought it was so silly of her and how bad she is with names. After the first few times of him telling me this, it just got old. Not funny, and almost seemed intentional. The first time I did meet her, we had dinner at a restaurant. It felt like an interview. Do you ever get jealous? What has made you better since being in my son's life? Also, throughout that dinner, she was scrolling on her phone for 5+ minutes, showing me old pictures of herself. After that, we showed support at their church function where there was a photographer. I let my BF and his mom get a pic first, and then my BF invited me in for one. She then proceeds to say, as a joke, "I have to share him with her now." I was so fed up at this point. It took me a while to want to go around her again, but finally I gave it another shot. Throughout my next convo with her, she tells me she has my name saved in her phone as Sammy's girl. At this point, my BF and I were together for a year. I felt disrespected, and I also felt like telling me that was so unnecessary. She also, like always, shows me old pics she has of herself on her phone, for what I'm assuming is fishing for compliments. She also told me she told her son's baby mama to name their first child after her. I slowly started my distancing myself more and more, to the point where we only saw each other once every 3 to 4 months maybe. A few months later, I meet a friend of my BFS. He is hired by my BFS mom to do their lawn. He told me that when he was out doing their lawn, she came out and talked to him, asked how he feels about me, to which the friend replied he hasn't met me yet. To which her response was, "How do you feel about that?" Clearly fishing for information on me. I was so upset I called her. I asked her why she felt the need, after almost 1.5 years of knowing me, to ask my BFS friends about me. She made up a story about it being taken out of context. Blah, 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 but did admit to asking. During that conversation, she told me a story about her purposely making a comment in front of her other son's GF that she didn't like to see her reaction. I think this was my final straw. Her telling me this story, as if she sees nothing wrong with that story, and acting like that's completely normal. Ever since that phone, I essentially do not talk to her. Lastly, I had plans to meet his brother who lives out of town. We had plans last weekend to go to a baseball game for over a week. The game started at 5 p.m. My BF got a text from his brother at 3 p.m. to instead go to a sip and paint. That cost $42 and started 2 hours later than our original plans, so that their mom can come. We said absolutely not, and my BF and I stuck to the original plan of baseball game. I just thought it was entirely inconsiderate to 1. Invite yourself to plans 2. Ask to change those plans 3. 2 hours before the plans start. She also canceled plans on my mom to meet her for the first time, 1 day before the plans that were made 1 month prior. She just seems to have no consideration for other people, and I am over it. My BF definitely sees a problem with her behavior, but I don't think he sees her as a narcissist or anything toxic necessarily. I think he just sees her as different and her personality. Because of all of these instances, I really find it hard to want to communicate or have a relationship with her. Are these things I should just look past and put aside, or am I valid in wanting to limit my contact with her? Now, last story. Emile doesn't have our wedding picture on her picture shelf. Am I overreacting? My Jane Emile has a shelving unit for special pictures. Normally, it was where the main hall and family room intersect, but she recently moved. She is done unpacking. Today, we stopped by for a visit and to see the new place, which is on the smaller side. So this shelving unit is in a more prominent family room location across from the couch. On it, she has pictures of all the grandkids, her wedding, parents, family vacation photos, both my SIL's weddings, but while visiting and having to sit across it today, I noticed our wedding picture is nowhere to be found. There is lots of room on the bottom shelf, which only has 1 frame on it, so it's not lack of space. I mentioned it to my husband as I found it odd since she's even got 2 wedding pictures from his sister's wedding, and he says I'm overreacting. Neither of us remember if it was always missing. When we got married, we got a package that included a 25 photo album for each set of parents, so there is no reason to not have one of our wedding. Edit for clarity. I'm not trying to get her to put a picture of our wedding up, just wondering if this is in the realm of normal behavior or honest mistake, and if I'm just overreacting. In her package, there should have been some pictures of just my husband and his family too, since he had a separate crew to document his family before the wedding, and I had my own crew for mine. Excluding even that makes me feel like she somehow disapproves of our marriage. Background info. My Emile historically seems to have an issue with me being a strong woman that has boundaries and is not afraid to be honest when these are crossed. She was spoiled growing up and still acts like a spoiled brat that has to get her way. She often acts in a passive-aggressive manner towards me when she's not getting her way and tries to manipulate situations, including going behind my back to my husband when she wants something that she thinks I won't be okay with. My husband loves his mom and thinks she can do no wrong. He has no spine when it comes to her, and even when he can see she's done something wrong, his automatic response is that she didn't mean it like that, and I'm overreacting. He has been working on this and does have a therapist that is helping him see the light, but he often lacks follow-through with suggestions that involve higher confrontations like a family meeting. He has much work left to do in this regard. In the last couple of years, we have had a couple of disagreements that I would classify as serious because of insensitive remarks she made after my father passed away, and because she was going behind my back, pressuring my husband to lend them money and co-sign on their apartment lease without my knowledge. I unfriended her on all social media because of the situation with my dad, and although I decided to be the bigger person and be cordial with her and speak to her, I will not add her back and ignore her friend requests.